From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Unions representing federal public servants are furious, and they vow to fight the Treasury Board's new mandate to have employees in the office at least 3 days a week. The Public Service Alliance of Canada says it's looking into legal options and will file an unfair labor practice complaint in the meantime. The head of the Canadian Association of Professional Employees notes the change was made in secret and without consultation within his union either. Public servants started working remotely during the pandemic until the government tweaked the rules a year ago and ordered them to return to the office at least 2 days a week. The Treasury Board says the new rule taking effect September 9th is meant to bring more fairness and consistency to how the hybrid work model is applied. A Winnipeg judge is expected to decide this week whether the trial of a man accused of killing 4 women will be heard by a jury.
Lawyers for Jeremy Skibicki have been arguing to have the case heard by a judge alone because of pretrial publicity. Skibicki has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder in the deaths of Rebecca Comtois, Morgan Harris, Mercedes Moran, and a 4th unidentified woman Indigenous leaders have named Buffalo Woman. Defense lawyers say they're planning to argue that Skibicki is not criminally responsible because of mental illness. Crown prosecutors say despite the amount of coverage the case has gotten, the court has been able to find a handful of jurors who are not aware of the case. John Kennedy, The Canadian Press.
The makers of Ozempic say their weight loss drug Wegovy will be available to Canadian patients next week. Novo Nordisk's weekly injection is approved for weight loss among patients diagnosed with obesity. Wegovy can also be prescribed to significantly overweight patients who have at least one related medical condition, such as type 2 diabetes or obstructive sleep apnea. Wegovy contains the same medication, semaglutide, as the diabetes drug Ozempic, but at a higher dose. Pro-Palestinian protest camps are now in place at 4 Canadian universities, as well as at scores of post-secondary schools in the U.S. Activists are protesting the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. Tensions are growing on California's UCLA campus as law enforcement officers order hundreds of pro-Palestinian demonstrators to disperse. But they're not leaving. They remain behind barricades. And former U.S. President Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial resumes today in New York, but the presumptive Republican nominee again finds himself in hot water with the judge.
As Donald Trump campaigned in Michigan Wednesday, he continued criticizing Judge Juan Merchan and the criminal hush money case in New York.
I don't think there's ever been a more conflicted judge, crooked and conflicted.
It was a day after the judge held Trump in contempt for violating the gag order. Today, there will be a hearing in court to determine if Trump violated the gag order again, with 4 other statements. Prosecutors are seeking a $4,000 fine. Brian Clark, ABC News.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Edmonton Oilers are going to round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Leon Draisaitl scored twice. Evan Bouchard had 3 assists as the Oilers got by the Los Angeles Kings 4-3 in Edmonton Wednesday night to take their first-round series in 5 games. Captain Connor McDavid was thrilled with Draisaitl's play.
There's not many guys better than him in the whole world. It's impressive to watch.
The Oilers move on to the second round, where they will face the winner of a matchup between the Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators. Jason Robertson's power play goal in the second period snapped a tie and lifted Dallas to a 3-2 playoff victory over the defending champion Vegas Golden Knights. The Stars lead their best-of-7 series 3-2. Natalie Spooner scored twice as Toronto clinched first place in the Professional Women's Hockey League with a 4-1 win over visiting Minnesota. And the Toronto Blue Jays have a day off Thursday after losing 2 of 3 games to the visiting Kansas City Royals. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.